Look at this whole SPAC nonsense, right? For a company that does really good with data analysis and figuring things out, how could they not have figured out that most of these SPACs are cash flow negative and they would be burnt out by the next within a year or two,
What do you mean by
right?
most of these SPACs?
Most of the SPACs that they invested in, look at the prices on them right
Yeah,
now.
but that's just the macro. That's not their
No,
bad.
no. That's not just the macro. That's not just the macro.
What do
Because
you mean
if
that's
you
not
look,
the macro? All these companies are down because Wall Street hates SPACs right now. They hate growth companies. You're telling me Wejo is a horrible company?
not all of them, but majority of them, I would be surprised to see that them lasting another year or two. Mainly because
Really?
you look at
But
their
we'll look at
cash.
their
Yeah,
financials. That's what you think he's
yeah.
saying is financially
Look,
they're not stable enough without going back and getting more money.
exactly. Right now, they're in a position where most of them are burning through their cash, right? Which means that their pipe is going to be done by the end of the year. Unless they go into the debt markets, they're done. They're going to be gone, right? And that's a huge equity loss.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I don't know why you're saying that. Like, are you saying all the SPACs are just burning? Like,
I'm not saying absolutes of all. I'm saying some for me, very a decent amount. But
a decent amount of the 14, 19 SPACs are going to go out of business in 2 years. That's what you guys are saying.
That's what I'm saying, not these guys. I'm saying 70% of them are gone. I say 70% are gone.
It was a calculated bet that they're still going to make money on this overall. It's like picking your own portfolio, right? At the end of the day, in 10 years, your top 2 or 3 positions are what carry your portfolio. I believe Wejo is one of those companies that will be one of those top 3. I also believe that, yes, this is the reason. If you look at the financials and earnings, this is why the operating margins went down and everything looked down, because they've had to claim those losses on sales for the SPACs for the last 2 quarters. And there's actually still another 126 million they have to claim. I believe they're going to claim all of that next quarter, because they said their operating margins were going to be at the lowest it's ever been, 20%. If they're smart, they would just get through that, get through the red. And then after that, they will be profitable. But they also got customers that, if they can stay alive, will continue to build and continue to pay them. So I think it'll be a net wash 5 years from now. I mean, right now it looks bad, but I think with Wejo and some of the other companies, they only needed like 2 or 3 of those to really thrive. Like, I think Sarcos Robotics could be something very interesting in the future.
So we are at this point going to have to use a death watch and see how many of these die.
Hey, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We've got that.
Let me share the screen right now showing the SPACs. Because when you guys are saying they're going to die, I'm just like, hold on. Like, are y'all sure? This is dailypalantir.com.
Cash. They'll have to get more cash. So, okay, out of these, who are you?
So Tritium's going to be here. Yeah. So for me, Tritium will be here. Wejo will be here.
Yeah.
Babylon will be here. Atheorant, I don't know if they had some decent earnings. They will definitely be here in the digital advertising space. Sarcos will be here. Those are my 5. The rest of these guys, here. I mean, Energy Vault, I think will be. Bird, I don't think it's fucking gonna be here. Bird's gonna fly away. Bird's not gonna be here.
I definitely think Rigetti will be here. That's the quantum computing company.
Okay, so we got 6. Chris, do you disagree with any of my 5?
No.
Okay, so we got Rigetti. Well, we'll trust Dom. Energy Vault, I mean, that's a bet, but like, if they, I want to put Energy Vault. Lilium is. I think they're going to get fucking sued out of existence if they can't get the plane to fly. So we don't know about them.
What happened with Embark? I think their stock price like crashed, if I remember right. But their CEO is sharp as a whip.
Faraday is.
Faraday would be the one that I think definitely is going down. Like the Faraday's
So here's a quote from the world. Wolf of Wall Street. Here's a quote from Wolf of Wall Street. Don't judge me by my winners. Judge me by my losers, because I have so few, right? So I would say I'm judging the SPAC decisions based on companies like Faraday, right? What did Palantir see in Faraday to say, hey?
I mean, I get what you're saying is like, why even, like, what did they see that was so,
Right.
But you can't pick them all. You can't pick them all winners. They only needed a couple of these to take off,
Wait, Arnie, can you explain a little bit about Faraday? Do you know anything about them?
No. Well, apart from knowing what they do, I'm kind of out. I just like to say that this SPAC saga was very weird at the beginning, especially since I worked when I was an analyst. I had to analyze many SPACs. There was the SPAC spread in the Italian market as there was the other year in the US market. I would say that 99% of the SPACs are not good investments. Are great
He's like, are
tools.
shit. They're shit.
Not because all the companies are shit, but the way a SPAC starts already sets you the mood. And what I mean is that SPACs are great for the promoters. If they are great for the promoters and maybe for the company receiving the money at a huge valuation, it means that they are not good for investors. At least what we are getting here is that they're not only investing money, but well, we receive some payments. They're understanding company industries where they are not in yet. And for a company like Palantir, if you think of it, how important it is to map possibly every sector. And I think what they wanted to show is not much about the potential gain they could have by investing in these companies, but also to give a signal to companies maybe thinking of, oh, maybe we can use a Palantir Foundry for our operations. If Palantir can show that regardless of the industry, regardless of a sector, wherever you are, regardless of the size, you can benefit from Palantir. For sure, yeah. In terms of a financial decision, it is a disaster. I thought it would have been a disaster since I seriously had to analyze once in detail, after all the SPAC acquisition was done, how dilution there would be, and it was crazy number. I don't remember the precise number, but at the end of all the deal, the investors would have a very tiny percentage of a company they paid a very high price. This is in general how the SPAC works. But since they called it like strategic investment, I want to think there was more than that. For sure, we don't fully understand it. We just see the financial hit, which was kind of predictable. I think their go-to-market strategy is weird, but I think they need to show that Palantir could be used for any case, for any size. So it's like when AWS started, they needed to show, okay, you want to build a startup, go and start with our cloud. It could benefit you. So weird move, probably doesn't work well in terms of financial results. I think there is much more than we see. And I would hope to see them doing something strategical again. Now the market is depressed, because if you did it when the market was up, why don't you use the cash you have now to do something similar? I saw Snowflake has Snowflake Ventures. Mm-hmm. So that would be very beneficial in my opinion.
Yeah, same thing with Salesforce. Salesforce Ventures is amazing. Like they've been Salesforce Ventures has invested in some of the greatest companies out there right now. And that's the thing with Palantir too. But the fact that they went into the SPAC game, it didn't, like I said, it didn't sit well with me. And on top of that, what ended up happening was, among all the Wall Streeters, like people who actually invested, who actually like are big money managers, they looked at it and said, from an analyst standpoint, like these SPAC things don't make sense. What is Palantir, I wouldn't say hiding, but what are they not telling us, right? And that's where a lot of them took their hands off. Now, the one thing we are seeing is a lot of them getting back in, because now from a valuation standpoint, all those SPAC losses are already in, right? So they're already in the mix. So it's not like Palantir can go further down in its SPAC losses, right? At this point,
they haven't sold all their shares. They still have 126 million they have to sell.
Yeah, but most of those, they're going to end up getting the cash flows back by the end of
yeah.
their
No, I get
review.
yeah. There will be
But-
some way. Like that's my thing is like only one needs to work. Like let's just say I think everyone's in agreement. Weejo is one of the most interesting ones, right? So if Weejo takes off and that becomes a real, even just say a $10 billion market cap company down the road, the investment paid off. It wipes all those other losses away. Now we have to sit there and watch it develop. That's not going to happen right away. And I think that kind of ties us all back to the theme of, people like saying that we're just all bag holders. It's not, we got a long haul to go.